Garg from Narmada Calrex Public School, one of the best leading schools in Bharuch. In today's scenario, forward planning is an important part of every student or business, but planning must be strategic thinking. In the innovation space, forward planning is more than a generic phrase. It refers to organization and the way in which they proactively look toward the future to identify opportunities. That's why today we have invited Mr. Abhishek Bagchi, who is leading School of New Era, RMPS International School in Ankleshwar, to have his opinion on strategic thinking. He's an avid learner since his childhood, with masters in IT and later post-graduation in education administration from Symbiosis. He shifted his career as an educator. He is carrying 20 plus years of experience in education with more than 7 years in leadership positions. He worked with reputed organizations like GEM Education, Pearson, Birla Group, etc., and helped build several schools from scratch. He has trained more than 1 lakh students and more than 300 teachers in his career so far. He had the honor of representing reputed organizations like World Education Summit, GSLC, School News, Getty Foundation as speaker and moderator. He's an author for Macmillan Publication and reviewed books of Oxford University Press. He's an enthusiastic reader, writer, quizzer, photographer, musician, and a traveler. There is so much to speak about you, sir. I welcome you on this platform on behalf of Calrex family. So I would like
yes, please.
So I would like to hear your views on forward planning and strategic thinking. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, all the members of Calrex who is witnessing this talk. Good evening, each and every one of you present in this webinar. Yes, ma'am. Whenever ma'am speaks, like she speaks very high of me, that's like rotate up a little bit. Anyways, today's topic is very interesting, and for that I need to share my screen. So if you permit, then I'll be sharing my screen.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Right. I hope the screen is visible.
Of course, of course, of course.
Right. So it is a very interesting topic. Like when I was speaking to the principal of Calrex Bharuch, Mrs. Dua, and she's a nice woman, and she told me that yes, we are looking forward to like to talk about something which will give the audience a little bit of idea about what is going to come in our near future. So having said that, like I'm not going to talk about the near future only. I'm going to talk about a future which will be around 25 to 30 years ahead of us. So this is me. Yes, at presently I'm in Bharuch. I'm a traveler, so I kept on traveling to different parts of India and world. And I've worked in several parts of India, and I'm presently anchored in Bharuch district, which is in Ankleshwar. The school RMP is very close to my heart, and I got like anchored here and working here since like last 30 to 33 months. So this is our topic today, and there is an overview of the topic which you can see in front of me. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to read my slides because that's going to be a very silly thing to do. I'm not going to read my slides. So as you can see, like what I'm going to present at present moment. So it will be divided into 4 parts. Like it's a history, how the world has changed, what will be the world in next 30 years, and the skills that you must acquire, and the future jobs. It's very simple. So let's see like how to start with. I always start with a cartoon, like that's I always like, so you can read from the slides. This is very interesting. Right. So this is how the generations have changed. This is how the time has changed, and we are adapting with the time. Yes. So let's start with a story. The story is about a man who was born in 1961. And as he was growing up, he saw the changes around him. Now let's see, like, I don't know, like if there is anyone watching this as born in 1961. I hope that you'll be able to relate to this. If it is not, then just follow the story, what is happening here. The first 30 years, which is the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Let's see what happened there. In the first 30 years, what the man faced. Let's see what he faced in terms of the lifestyle. Trust me, these are true. These are the images taken from 60s and 70s. And this is what our parents, grandparents have faced. I am old, but not that old, right? So I'll be belonging to this particular era, that is 70s, but this is what was happening there. I hope that you can read the slides. I said that I'm not going to read it. In case of commute, mostly we were walking. Even in 70s, even in 80s, we were walking mostly or cycling. Can't even dream of having a car, at least not in the middle class society, middle class family like us. And interestingly, the cars never cared about safety those days. Just notice how the world was at that particular time, and how you will feel the world has changed. Science and technology. I don't know how many of you still has a landline phone at home. If yes, then please write in that Facebook chat in the comments. Like, I would like to see that later on. I'm not sure that anyone still has got landline phone at home. And look at the picture. That's a picture of the first rocket that India was building. You know, like ISRO was building, and there it was being carried for a cycle. Interesting, right? Education. I don't know if the teachers want that back. Yeah, ma'am is saying no. I agree with it. I strongly agree that this thing has gone for better. Right. Entertainment. Trust me, radio was really, really popular. Okay, you can call me an old person. Yes, I am. But radio was extremely popular in our times. TV came later on, and when it came, you know what happened. It really, really swept the whole entertainment area. But still, we are talking about till 80s, right? And jobs and skills. This is where we're going to talk a lot in future, in just my next few slides. Now notice the jobs. Notice it very, very carefully. They were majorly in textiles, banks, FMCG, and the skills were very limited. The requirement of the skills were repeated because the jobs were very repetitive. The jobs were like, they were mostly requirement of clerks and government offices would be doing jobs which require limited skills. And throughout the career, throughout the whole career, they can carry on doing for maybe 30 years, 40 years, 50 years the same job with the same set of skills. So that was happening in 60s to 80s. Now, what happened in the next 30 years? Now, this is a area. This is the major area where we all belong to. Our teachers, most of our parents, like they have seen this era. They are extra. They were kids. They were in schools. They were growing up in colleges, and the whole lifestyle suddenly changed dramatically. So that's the change in the next 30 years. And why this change happened? Because there was a great economic growth that at least India has seen that growth. Maybe the world has already seen the growth, maybe another 10 to 20 years before. But India has suddenly seen that growth. And yes, as we know, the internet, the computers, the internet, the smartphones, the retail markets, the malls, fashion, cross culture, everything entered in this era. So if you notice carefully from the 30 years back, and now the next 30 years period, now you can see the drastic change. Can you see the huge amount of change that has happened? The lifestyle was slow, it was predictable, it was, like people were enjoying the lifestyles. Suddenly, there is a drastic change in the next 30 years. What happened to the commute? You know, right? You are very lucky that you are in Bharuch or Ankleshwar, you're not facing this each and every day. But trust me, the people in the urban spaces, in the major cities, they face it each and every day. 65% of the Indians spend an hour or more sometimes traveling while traveling to work. That's an alarming data. 65% of Indian losing 1 hour every day while traveling. So that's what has happened. So not everything is good, right? Science and technology, I bet that you will say that's a fantastic thing that has happened. I agree with you. Like, yes, all over the world, the whole technology exploded. I can see like the gadgets and the computers, internet, disrupted the lifestyle, the life we teach.
So are you there? Yeah, I think there is some network issue. Uh, yes, sir. So you can share your screen again.
Right, I think it got disconnected in between.
Yeah. I guess some network issue.
Right. So as I was saying, like I think I was like got disconnected in the science and technology part. So that like in the last 30 years, it has seen like can you imagine the 90s? We were not having smartphones. We never even imagined that we'll be carrying a device which will have a computation power of a laptop or a computer. So trust me, even me started computing like maybe in 1994. So I never imagined that I'll have to leave the keyboards and I have to type on a screen like that. I never imagined, and it happened so fast. And already within 10 to 20 years, I'm already doing that, and that to a smartphone which is having greater capacity and ability. So it's changed so fast. Education, yes, the main change that has happened in education shifted from grade most TVs are almost boring.
So you can carry on. So, so please unmute yourself.
Yeah, just one second. Right. Yeah, And in case of jobs and skills, we have seen that the jobs 30 years back required some predictable skill sets, and that too, they were very static in nature. But the things have changed and jobs are 21st century, which I will be talking in details in my next few slides. And these jobs are not limited to any fixed space or geography. And thanks to COVID, I'm very sad in saying that thanks to COVID, but this has happened, that our jobs are not now limited to any fixed space or any kind of geography. And then this has been like globalization is already redefining the economy, and people having multiple skills are preferred at this very moment. Okay, what are the lessons learned? Because that's why we look back, right? We look back 60 years of span. And what are the lessons that we have learned in this last 60 years? Yes, the world is changing very fast. Increasing urbanization and internet boom is acting. As I said, I'm not going to read from the slides. You can read it, but I'll highlight the main areas, which is there is a shift towards understanding personalized spaces. That a personalization is where we are moving towards, right? And last but not the least, a very important area that we have learned here, that no knowledge or skill is permanent. We have seen in last 60 years. Why 60 years? Even the last 30 years. There is so much change which has happened in the knowledge capacity or even the skills that we already possess. So, and we're moving towards an era where learn, unlearn, and relearn abilities will be the most important ones. So that is where we are moving towards. Now, fasten your seatbelt. We are moving towards the world of 2050. We have already seen last 60 years. What will happen in the next 30 years? Let's see. But before that, I need a little bit of introspection. This is my safety net. As you can read, yes, this is only a small slice of the future, and we don't know. I cannot guarantee what you will be seeing later on in the following slides and actually will be the future. But this is my best guess, educator's guess. As ma'am introduced me, I do have more than 20 years of experience, and accumulating all my experiences and my knowledge in IT and my knowledge in technology and education, I can guess that this is going to be the future. Let's see what is stored. What will be the major changes? I have just noted down the major changes first, and then we'll be going one by one to the areas where the major changes are happening. Definitely, I've written in red, I've changed the font color, artificial intelligence. That's going to disrupt each and everything. People who are watching this, trust me, you don't have any idea what is going to happen. The disruption will be more than anything that has happened that humankind has ever seen. More than internet, more than smartphones, more than anything. What it will do, let's see, we'll be seeing that. But the base of artificial intelligence will be machine learning and data. So that will come back again when we'll be going to the next slides. You will have a great bit of personalization that I just not mentioned a few slides back. And personal ecosystem will give us an illusion of free will. Yes, and I'm not going to talk about the illusion of free will in this particular presentation, maybe something later on. You can ask some questions later on in the comments, I'll be answering maybe. And majority of the jobs in 2050 does not exist today. So definitely starting with artificial intelligence, I cannot help but start with this because this is going to be the biggest disruptor. I hope that these slides I'll be sharing with Calorex. So ma'am, if you want, you can share it with the audience if later on. Then they can look into the slides later on.
Sure, sir, sure.
I'll make it public for all.
Thank you so much.
So artificial intelligence basically has got 3 layers, as you can see there in the right hand side of the picture. Artificial intelligence, which alters the machine learning, which actually results in machine learning, and which further results in deep learning. At presently, we are not in the deep learning state. We are in a state of machine learning, not even 10% of it. But the more this percentage increases, the more our ecosystem, the definition of our environment will change. And I'm not going to a detail because that will be a separate presentation altogether. I'll be just touching on the areas where you'll be, witnessing in near future. I hope that each and everyone listening to me will actually see 2050, and I'm sure about it. So you'll be you'll be seeing it, and my students who are actually watching it will actually be in the job market that particular those years. You'll be fighting for survival, and some of you thriving. So for you, these things will be extremely important. Now, this is what the machine learning is, and which involves AI definitely. Now, that's ordinary system, which is our present system, which is like a laptop or a mobile phone or something. And if you mix an AI program with the ordinary system, the machine that involves in the AI start learning. So where the human interference becomes minimum and the machine starts learning from the software itself, capturing all the data from the environment. And it learns, it predicts, it improves, and it keeps on learning and again predicting and improving, ultimately going to a state of deep learning. That's enough of machine learning and artificial intelligence. I hope that if possible, we'll be doing it another separate session of artificial intelligence later. Quantum computing. This is again an extremely new area. It's not new, but human being is in a very nascent state at this present moment. We are not even crawling. Though some of the companies like NASA has made a quantum leap already, and they are trying to just understand this thing. Like if you are doing a mathematical calculation in a computer, and that calculation is taking, say, 2 years to complete, that complex the calculation here. Quantum computing using quantum mechanics will take 20 seconds. So that's going to be the change in the computing infrastructure that we are witnessing at this present moment. So imagine that will be the increase in the speed, which means more data will be analyzed, more data will be operated on, and more results will come in. The faster the machine will run, the faster the technology will develop, the faster as a species human being will be in competition. Next, Wi-Fi. You've heard of Wi-Fi, but imagine a situation where all your lights at your home are conducting the data or transmitting the data instead of the Wi-Fi. Actually, it will be a complement to the Wi-Fi system. Means what you'll do, at presently it has already started doing. If you are standing in below a light, it will catch the Wi-Fi connection and it will amplify that. So if you are below a light, then definitely you will get a better connection. So this is a far cheaper technology than Wi-Fi. So definitely this is going to be this is going to see a huge development in near future, and by another